Naruto vs Luffy has a major problem, and it's not what you think. Now stay with me here. The problem isn't that Naruto can't keep up with Luffy's speed, although I'm sure some One Piece fans will disagree with that, or that Luffy cannot keep up with Naruto's attack potency. Another thing that I highly doubt Naruto fans would agree on, but time, which I'll get into in just a second. Chances are that if you're watching this video, you've more than likely seen some content almost certainly claiming that the outcome is incredibly one-sided. Something maybe along the lines of, all it would take is a single shadow clone and a Rasengan, or better yet, any water style jutsu and he along with any devil fruit user in the series is absolutely cooked. We'll ignore that characters like Aokiji and Katakuri exist. Would water chakra be considered an entirely different entity to real water as mentioned in Naruto and probably not apply the same cross-verse? Again, yes. But right now, none of that matters. Putting that aside for just a second, if it's Team Luffy, I can almost hear the Speed Blitz durability negation or Speed Blitz Duraneg for short camp screaming at the top of their lungs, throwing up the lob to the Gear 5, therefore Toon Force Solo's fiction members of the fandom, attempting to perform their weekly dunk on the Naruto community regarding this topic, coping at the fact that there are Naruto characters not only with the elemental advantages necessary to counter low gears, but interact with their very souls, constantly listening to both fandoms scream at each other and have their hands at each other's throats over the years has shown me, apart from the rare new scaling method that's actually good, and believe me, incredibly rare, the harsh reality that nobody can really address the fundamental time problem inevitably found in this painfully drawn out conversation. But listen, I get it. After all, who doesn't want to see two main characters from the most successful anime mangas, heck, with One Piece outselling Batman, fictional franchises of all time, pitted against each other and to boot, in a heated hypothetical situation that would be almost unthinkable if they were to actually bump into one another within the context of their own series. Now, allow me to clarify that when I say time, I am not referring to a battle of attrition or stamina, although that would almost certainly be a factor at play when considering the cartoonish capabilities of Gear 5, but specifically the fact that One Piece is still going, and Naruto, although part of an active continuation that Kishimoto once wrote, as I'm sure you're more than aware, is not. Does this fact prevent Naruto from potentially getting upscaled as a result of the magic of inverse scaling? No, but what it does do is significantly reduce the probability of this happening. Heck, I would even go as far as to say that after Baryon mode, the serious power cliffing of our beloved, hot-blooded, Sasuke-kissing Hokage is only a matter of chapters away. In time, both fandoms will see that the feats in normal circumstances add ferocious flames to this seemingly never-ending fire fizzle out, leaving nothing but the smoke of potential what-ifs and possibilities to cope behind. On the other hand, although Luffy looks like a senior citizen after using Gear 5, that, as for now, has a clear time limit, as the main character of One Piece, one thing that has been made very clear to me is that this mysterious thing known as time is overwhelmingly flowing in his favor. The scope of Elbaph has sent shivers down the spines of both Naruto and One Piece fans alike, and if the theories are true about Luffy being the one to realize Vegapunk's dream of completing Mother Flame, perhaps even consuming it, as crazy as this may sound, I can't confidently say that infinite power is outside the realm of possibility. And at the very least, the Nika and Loki lore regarding the destruction of entire worlds is almost certainly going to be a topic of concern in the foreseeable future. Now, I want to make it crystal clear that although much of this is just speculation, the fact is that lots of, and increasingly so with the number of theories being proven in Elbaph, is not. When in the past, Kizaru was the shackle that made the idea of faster than light One Piece incomprehensible for any character not close to Admiral tier, Egghead has gone full circle with characters like Sanji, and more importantly, Luffy himself obliterating said idea. And what you'll notice if you've been paying close attention to the behavior of these fan bases is that they're kind of like water and oil. As one rises, the other tries to sit on the top and observes without mixing. But because Naruto doesn't have time on his side, even more so when you consider that Boruto is a monthly manga and thus will more than likely lose out on not just the opportunity for new feats, but in the nuance of said feats. While one fandom is being constantly forced to rehash metas for scaling that were once considered horrible on a good day, and seriously consider reintroducing these methods of comparing the characters back into the conversation, the other is doing calculations for all of the ludicrous new things that are being done in rapid succession as we speak. If I received £1 for every time I heard somebody unironically say that this translated statement of Kurama turning the world to ash proves planetary scaling for an earlier version of Naruto, or maybe the planetary chakra, or even worse, in retaliation to Luffy eating Kizaru's laser, using Haku in these conversations. I'd be able to buy a good number of volumes from both mangakas, though admittedly not sure I want to financially support Oda right now given his contribution to the Rurouni Kenshin tribute, so we might need to check his computer first.
Very fast.
When I see some of the insanity being used by both communities, I'm sorry, give me a second, I still can't get over Haku. I think to myself, what happened to Light Fight? Or my personal favorite, courtesy of the Boruto anime, Urashiki. Consistent and non-contentious scaling used to be considered good, but when fighting an uphill battle against time, this is what you guys need to understand. As the feats intensify, it becomes more apparent that this simply will not be enough. I mean, if they're not as nonsensically strong as possible, what's the point, right? Everybody has their own agenda. The problem only intensifies when we have to scrutinize the things that were once accepted in the name of consistency, so that we can re-establish the rapidly fading idea that this battle was ever a complete one-sided beatdown for a particular side. This isn't to say that time is necessarily always in the favor of a series that continues. I've seen more shows than I can count Demon Slayer or MASH, but we won't talk about that. Introduce completely unnecessary information or reasons to doubt my view, like character, databook, and author statements that can quite literally flip the entire dynamic on its head. Now, fortunately for me, I'm genuinely unaffected by the outcome. I follow what I believe is the truth, and as such, if Vegapunk or Emu gives me good reason to question the size of the One Piece planet when wiping an island off the map, maybe the V-Ray cards once again dropping the size of Zunisha, and thus the attack potency of its strongest characters, you better believe that I can and will accept the result with open arms, because this is what an honest person does. Unlike the respective fandoms, no amount of One Piece speed upgrading is going to bother me to the point of ignoring the blatant non-existence of consistency found in certain databook statements. And no, years later I have not changed my mind on the Doriki scale not working. Gear 2 has no linear speed multiplier, whether you like it or not. The same is true in the Naruto databooks when discussing the famed light speed tier. It is perfectly acceptable to me that these characters were just barely below or above light speed by the end of the war, getting faster, leading to and up to where we currently are in the Boruto manga. And if it means that Luffy is going to take the upper hand in one aspect of a very complex battle, that's perfectly fine. Some One Piece fans may be misconstruing this as a sign to kick their legs up at the inevitable demise of a timeless discussion, but the fact of the matter is, Egghead, whilst shedding much needed clarity to an age-old question and doubling down on the light speed achieved by the pacifista lasers, it also exposed an ugly truth, and that is the mind-numbingly slow progression of scaling within the series. You mean to tell me that in the 12 plus years between Rayleigh and Kizaru's clash, we're only now getting acceptable beyond light speed feats? And yes, I remember the German brothers hanging comfortably at the base speed of light tier and burned the world, adding nothing but confidence to the sub-relativistic early post-time skip side of the fandom. And I say all this to say that how far Luffy will grow in this series that inches ever so closely to his end still remains to be considered. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, give me some video suggestions. I'd love to hear what you would like to see. I want to be very consistent, and the only way I can do that is if I know what you want. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.